It is spring 2013. Fishing boats have appeared on the waters along the western bank of the Bohai Gulf, suspending the quietness. After the long winter off-season, fishermen are catching prawns in both rising and falling tides to prepare raw material for shrimp paste in the new year. "80-year-old Bao Wentang is from the Beitung district of Tianjin. Bao Wentang began to learn how to make shrimp paste from seasoned fishermen at age 17. He still continues to make shrimp paste. Shrimp paste has become an important part of his life. The weather is good today. He has sent out his son to catch the raw material to make homemade shrimp paste. This is Ba Wentang's boat on the 4th trip of this year. Old Ba has sent out his son into the sea 3 times already this spring. They haven't been very lucky, probably because of the cold weather. However, the weather is getting warmer, and if they don't hurry, they might miss the most opportune time to pickle shrimp paste. Shrimp paste is a seasoning made of preserved and fermented shrimp. During fermentation, protein from the shrimp decomposes into amino acids which give the paste a special flavor. For thousands of years along the coastal areas of Shandong, Liaoning, Zhejiang, Hebei, and Tianjin, local residents have enjoyed shrimp paste. The Bohai Gulf is a sea basin blessed with multiple tributaries. The Yellow River, the Haihe River, the Jiyun River all empty into the sea here. The soft silt carried by the rivers accumulates in the flat seabed, forming an extensive underwater mudflat. During spring and autumn, large groups of marine life gather here to spawn, turning this place into a natural fishery. Many shellfish and plankton also live under the mudflat. They become surprisingly active when the tide rises. This appears to onlookers as if the sea were covered in a layer of oil. Vitamins and minerals from the natural environment add another special flavor to the local seafood. Spring and autumn is fishing season. In the seafood market at the pier, fat spawn, mantis shrimp, and swimming crab can be found everywhere. Fresh, tender, nutritious seafood like corvina, perch, flounder, sleevefish, Spanish mackerel, and clam are also to be found in abundance.
This net is used to collect the raw material for making shrimp paste. This is the mouth of the net. Seafood enters into the net from the mouth and gathers in this narrow part. You see, the net is made by hand. The mesh here is so small that it is able to trap much smaller shrimp. The mesh becomes finer and denser all the way from the upper part to lower part. When we fish, we tie the net here. All caught seafood will be stored here when the net is tied.
Ba's sons already cast the net the day before. Today, they're going to catch seafood. They arrived at the cast net after 1 hour's sail.
There's nothing as yet in their net for white shrimp. April and May is spawning season, so they're staying in the deep sea instead of in coastal waters. They will need to wait for some time.
Disappointingly, despite over 20 nets having been cast yesterday, only a few are taken back. Some have become tangled with existing nets in the water, and others have likely been taken away by bigger boats. Luckily, this trip is not in vain. 35 kilograms of fish have been caught today. Tunggu district is known as the Pearl of the Bohai Gulf. Local residents are famous for their love of seafood. As the local saying goes, it's never inappropriate to borrow money to buy seafood. No one will laugh at you if you pawn your belongings to borrow money in order to buy seafood. Although this is just a joke, it reflects the importance of seafood in local people's lives. When seafood is in season, many city dwellers drive to the coastal villages just to eat fresh seafood. The off-season can be as long as 6 to 7 months in the Bohai Gulf. When there is no fresh seafood, folks find alternative ways to make up for the shortfall. They dry and pickle fish, shrimp and crab and make seafood paste. Preserving allows for a much longer shelf life. Sealed jars can be seen in the yards of fishermen's houses. Every year when the jars are opened, a strong smell of seafood spreads over the village. Local villagers describe shrimp paste as the smell carried for 3 miles with headwind and spread across the village with downwind. Shrimp pastes have different flavors as they are made from different food materials. Prawn paste. Prawn refers specifically to these 20 centimeter long prawns. Shrimp paste made of prawn head has a deep red color and is very delicious. It's the most upscale of the shrimp pastes. White shrimp paste is also known as small shrimp paste. White shrimps are 2 centimeter long small white shrimp. Paste made of white shrimp has a white color and is moderately expensive. Thread shrimp are puce-colored shrimp. They get their name from local residents because of their small thread residue. Thread shrimp grows in the sea and is transparent. It doesn't have an earthly smell and has a rich yellow head with a layer of oil. The dark color paste is the most common one for fishermen. During mealtime, the smell of shrimp paste leaks out from almost every household. It can be used with rice and also to season other kinds of dishes. The most authentic way to enjoy this delicacy is with a simple bite of pone and leek. You'll be surprised by the delicious taste. This delicious taste accompanies local residents through the long off-season for fishing. In Hanggu, Tianjin, 52-year-old Cui Jinlai is preparing fishing net. He plans to catch some thread shrimp to pickle thread shrimp paste. Since 7, Cui Jinlai has helped his father to catch fish out at sea. 12 years ago, Cui began to lease the ponds referred to as wangzi by the local people along the seaside and started a controlled breeding program. Every spring, Cui Jinlai catches thread shrimp from these ponds to pickle shrimp paste. The best thread shrimp comes from saltern ponds, known as saltern wangzi by the locals. Seawater flows into these ponds continually. Salinity becomes higher along the way. Thread shrimp also arrive into the ponds along with the seawater. These are the best kind of thread shrimp as they have a much stronger flavor and their meat is more pliable and chewy.
Shrimp usually shed every 5 days out at sea. In these ponds, however, they shed every 10 to 15 days, which means they grow for a longer period. Thus, they are fatter and have a higher oil content. This kind of thread shrimp is much better. Although they are better, they are fewer now.
These thread shrimp, after being caught, need to be washed with seawater in the sea or in the ponds. Never use fresh water because it affects the flavor of the paste, and also the paste easily gets moldy during the process of pickling. After all the food material is ready, the next step is to pick out impurities. Most of them are other kinds of fish: shrimp, arenicola, cristata, and wangpian. If they remain, the paste will smell and it will affect the paste's taste. This is the Chenglu salt area in Tianjin, one of the largest sea salt areas in China. The salt production here accounts for 1/3 of total salt production in China. This place has plenty of wind and sunshine, but very little rain. Seawater evaporates rapidly and salinity is high. Sea salt produced here is white and fine-grained and takes the shape of pearls. It was called Lutai's jade sand when it was used to pay tribute to the royal family during the Ming and Qing dynasties. In June of 2010, a stele made in the 17th year of Emperor Guangxu's reign was unearthed at an old pier in Beitang. It was called the Bushu Guanyan stele by archaeologists. It gave the residents of the salt-producing region the privilege to buy salt at a favorable price. This was a great boon for Beitang residents as they use a large amount of salt for pickling seafood. To some extent, it is this privilege that has preserved traditional paste-making techniques. After more than 100 years, people from Beitang still enjoy the unique natural resource as an important ingredient in pickling shrimp paste. The next step after picking out impurities is to add salt. There are special requirements for adding salt. The amount of salt depends on the temperature and shrimp freshness. More salt is needed when temperatures are high and shrimps are less fresh. Add less salt when the opposite is true. In most cases, 50 kilograms of thread shrimp will need 7.5 kilograms of salt in spring and 10 kilograms in summer. Cui Jin Lai uses about 7.5 kilograms of salt with 50 kilograms of thread shrimp, depending on the weather and temperature. Iodate can't be used because shrimp paste is already high in iodine content. Iodate will make the paste go bad and harm people's health. This is Beitang Town in Tianjin's Binhai New District, where Ba Wentang's seafood shop is located. It is operated for just over a year and already sees repeat business. That's because the raw foodstuff is caught by staff to save costs, allowing for lower prices but maintaining the uniqueness of the flavor. Ba Wentang cares so much about his shop that he works in the shop almost every day to help with the business and customers. His weathered face has become his shop's brand and his homemade shrimp paste. On the subject of Bar's involvement with pickled shrimp paste, there is a legendary story. Bar Wentung left his hometown for Shandong at the age of 16. He came to Beitung to make a living in a shabby jacket. He worked on a boat and learned how to pickle shrimp paste from senior fishermen in his spare time. One day, out at sea, fishing as per usual, Bar, to his surprise, caught more than 5,000 kilograms of white shrimp.
I used to fish at the mouth of the Beitang River and would catch over 50 kilograms of shrimp every time. My partner and I would struggle to pull out a full net of shrimp. Though they were quite fat, we generally didn't sell out.
Over 5,000 kilograms of superior white shrimp was going bad. Bar Wentung went and found 2 cement pools, cleaned them out, common containers used for making shrimp paste, shrimp sauce and pickle are tanks and barrels. Jars made of rough pottery are corrosion-resistant, breathable and don't leak, which make them a great place to preserve and ferment food. laughter. Maybe that's the smell of happiness. Cui Jinlai's paste has been pickling for 15 days. Today, he started an important step: mashing. During the process of pickling,